Hi Cancer, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina and today we are doing your April 2020 predictions. Okay, this may apply to Cancer Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Keep in mind that this is a general reading, so it may not apply to everyone, and that is okay. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest that doesn't. If you are able to gain something from this reading, let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at Sinfulpluto.com. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. So let's see what's going on for you, Cancer. Going on for Cancer Sun, Moon, Rising. Ooh, right, we have the Seven of Wands that popped out. So being very perseverant, eventually gaining the upper hand. It seems like you're on an upscale, or like the wheels are turning in your favor almost. All right, what's going on for Cancer Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, April 2020. There's something about roots, like feeling rooted. I don't know if this is like you feeling grounded in the month of April, or like you planting roots for something new, or like your roots for something was really strong, like you planted something and now like over time, by you taking care of it and you watering it and like taking care of like that, nurturing that thing, nurturing that project, giving it the attention that it requires, it feels as though it has become very strongly rooted, and soon it may be sprouting in April. Sprouting or like blossoming or something, whatever that means. So we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Ten of Wands reversed. Okay, so honestly, let me just say real quick, I know this looks bad but it's not. I actually really like this, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. We have the Seven of Swords reversed, King of Pentacles reversed, Three of Cups reversed, Nine of Pentacles reversed. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Wands. All right, this is a time of exploration for you, Cancer. This is a time of exploration, of learning, of putting yourself out there, of taking risks. I don't necessarily think it's a time of traveling. I don't know what's going on in April, but I don't know how things are going to be in the month of April in terms of quarantine and shit like that, but if everything is lifted by this time, by the end of like April, some of you may be traveling somewhere. I get this feeling of like you kind of enjoying everything that you have built, or everything that you have built thus far. That's kind of what it feels like, because some of you may have really been planning for a while. You may have really just like been doing the work, and it seems as though in April you might get a glimpse of that, or you might get some of the rewards for all of your hard work. I'm not gonna say all, because I don't know, but you might be getting a glimpse of that, getting a glimpse of what is in store if you continue on this track. Is that gonna make sense? It also kind of just feels like you might be waiting for something. It's like a period of waiting for you, of waiting for the perfect opportunity to come up, waiting for something to happen, waiting for a phone call, waiting for a call back, that sort of thing. So that's really interesting. Like staring at what you have built, because under that is the Four of Wands, which is like stability, and like this is the thing that you built, the thing that was rooted in place. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is literally what I was talking about, hard work, dedication, and patience. It's not something that is going to happen overnight. Like whatever you've been building, it's not going to be successful overnight, or it's not going to like give you the gratification that you want overnight. It's something that you have to work for, but you're getting there, which is good. So 10 of Swords and the 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Swords basically talks about a permanent ending to something. It talks about the phase of something just being over. A chapter in our lives just being over and done with. It's not something that can necessarily be revisited. Like, it's been said and done, and we let it go. And so I honestly appreciate that this card is here, because it feels as though some of us, especially with the King of Pentacles reversed and this Nine of Pentacles reversed, like, there may have been something for you, Cancer, that you were just clinging onto, trying to make it work, trying to make it happen, like just not wanting to let go of it for whatever reason. But by not letting go, you were continuously met with certain obstacles, and it's almost like you were trying to make it work by making the same, like by approaching it the same way each and every time, and nothing changed. It's like you were expecting change to happen even though you were doing the same actions. You were almost like expecting two puzzle pieces to fit even though you know that they don't fit, but you were just like still trying to like force it to happen, and each time you ended up disappointed because obviously they don't match. They're not matching pieces. So that's kind of what it feels like for you, Cancer. It's like kind of just like not necessarily giving up, but just surrendering and realizing like, okay, this just isn't it right now. I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna move on and see where else I am led. And I also feel like with this 10 of Swords, with this theme of something ending, of putting something to the grave, it feels as though there's this ending in terms of like attachments to either money, to finances, to status. With this King of Pentacles reversed, like this strong attachment to like reputation or to fame or recognition or whatever. Some of you might really require to put that to bed, essentially, to let go of that idea and to not place so much value on it. And with the King of Pentacles reversed, it also talks about someone who is like, just someone who's like status hungry, someone who is like fame hungry, like all they really care about is fame and recognition. They want to be famous, like they want paparazzi all around them. And in April, Spirit seems to be saying like, we don't want that. We don't need that. Cut it out, cut the bullshit. No, there's more to life than fame. There's more to life than recognition. There's more to life than wealth, than luxury, than lavishness. Okay, there's more to life than that. There's more to life than the physical, than the material. So some of you might be going through that journey of learning that and kind of putting that part of you to rest, putting that part of you to like to the side, and moving towards something that is a little bit more, I don't want to say spiritual, but just like leaning towards the other side of that, of the spectrum, and trying to find a middle ground between the material and the spiritual, or the material and the emotional, if you will. So that's kind of like what that seems like for you, Cancer, which honestly just seems really fucking good. You know, we don't want to be stuck in this energy of just like superficiality and stinginess and caring so much about what other people think of us. We need to grow out of that. Because if we continue living like this, or trying to live this ideal of being rich and famous and like wealthy and living the lavish life, you know, we may end up attracting a social group even who ends up continuing to fulfill that ideal, I guess you could say, right? It's almost as though we end up attracting fake friends, and it just like continues embellishing not embellishing, but it just continues giving into, or like further growing the image of being really fake, of being really superficial, of being very materialistic. So with the Three of Cups reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed, is kind of saying like, if you were to continue down this path of trying to be this, of trying to achieve this, you might end up also just having a social life or just being surrounded by people who are really fake, who are very materialistic, who might end up just wanting to use you for your money or for your fame or for your connections or for what you can physically provide for them, not really having much of an emotional connection with them is kind of what it seems like here. So be mindful of that. And also with this Three of Cups reverse, this can also talk about like a friendship or breakup or feeling left out. So for some of you, if you were to place so much value on this and if you continue chasing this dream or this ideal, you may end up alienating yourself from a group of friends that might actually really love you, but they don't want to deal with the superficiality or what you may have become in order to achieve this. So that's something to be mindful of as well, is like alienating yourself or breaking off from a friendship group that might actually be really great, but maybe you place too much value on the physical or whatever this is than genuine and authentic friendship. So again, that's something to be mindful of. And for some of you, it might not even be that you end up alienating yourself. It could just be that these people are kind of fucking over it and kind of like ostracize you in that way. And you end up kind of just being alone and like, yeah, you have all the material. Like, yes, you have all of this cool shit. Like, yeah, you're drinking a bottle of wine. Like you're drinking a cup of wine with your little pencil and you have like a little, what is this, a ram? I think it's a ram. Like, yeah, you have all this lavish shit, but you have no one to share it with. Like, what's the point, you know? So that's kind of what that's saying here. So again, that's just something to be mindful of for you, Cancer. But anyways, to go back to what I was saying earlier about this Ten of Swords. With this Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands, this is saying how like with whatever ending this is, whether it's letting go of this ideal, or letting go of something in your life, some sort of permanent ending. I want to further clarify what this Ten of Swords means. Like, where does this stem from? What are we letting go of? I want to further clarify that. But with this ending, with this permanent ending, with putting this thing to bed, we feel a release. Ten of Wands reverse, we get that burden off of our shoulders. And we may not have realized how much of a burden that was. You may not have realized how much of a burden it was trying to achieve this King of Pentacles reversed until it was gone, until you let go of it and you're like, oh shit, like I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more lightweight. Holy shit, I am so proud of myself for not having going down that route. That's kind of what it seems like. So it's kind of letting go of the burdens of trying to uphold a certain image of yourself, which is really cool. So let's further clarify this Ten of Swords for you, Cancer. So what is this supposed to mean? What is this Ten of Swords supposed to mean for Cancer? What are we letting go of? What's ending in our lives? What's ending for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the month of April 2020? What's ending? What's coming to an end for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the month of April 2020? What's coming to an end for Cancer, April 2020? Okay, so we have the Ace of Wands and the Six of Cups. That's really interesting. So for some of you Cancers, the Ace of Wands is a new beginning. That's a new beginning, that's a new passion. For some of you, this may be some sort of like sexual relationship. So if there has been a sexual relationship that you're involved in where it's like purely a sexual thing, but you don't benefit from anything, like you don't benefit at all from this sexual relationship, that might be something that's ending. And with the Six of Cups, this is like something familiar. This is something from the past. So it might be something that you've grown with. This might be with someone that you have grown up with or that you've known for a very long time. Something to do with nostalgia. It may have been something that like took root when you were younger. Like it may have been something where like you wanted this when you were a kid and this is something that you have always kind of wanted to achieve, but it's almost like you rerouted or like you shifted your mindset, you shifted what you actually wanted. The Ace of Wands is also like creativity, creative endeavors, like the beginning of something. It's the beginning of something new. It's the beginning of a new project, the beginning of a new idea, of a new path. Something passionate and exciting and adventurous. Your past is somehow coming to an end because you were stuck in it for a while. Yeah. That's interesting. All right, moving on. All right, so we have the Seven of Swords, which essentially talks about like thinking ahead, and also, what was it the other time? Oh, escapism. Having the Seven of Swords reversed is like no longer being to escape a certain reality, or like no longer trying to run away. It's like facing something head on, rather than trying to run away from it, or rather than trying to like morph or distort reality to make it fit what you wanted it to be, if that kind of makes sense. Also, the Seven of Swords reverse talks about how you need to be honest with yourself in April. You need to be honest with yourself in April, whether this is in relation to this King of Pentacles energy, or whether this is in relation to your friendship groups, or whether this is in relation to something in your life where you have been repeatedly reaching blocks no matter what you do, no matter where you go. Like you just keep on reaching these sort of blockages. So Seven of Swords reversed, right? That's the like needing to face reality. You might be like trying to deceive yourself or project a certain reality when that might not be entirely the case. And the Nine of Pentacles reversed basically talks about someone who, it basically talks about like a situation where you're so close to reaching the finish line, but once you're like a step away from reaching it, something out of nowhere just continuously pushes you back. It's like you make one step ahead and you're pushed 10 steps back. It's that sort of thing where you're not making enough progress and you're being continuously delayed or blocked, or you're just reaching all of these obstacles and you have no idea why. And the Nine of Pentacles basically says how you might be repeating the same old behaviors and reaching the same outcomes. And so this is saying how you need to reach you need to do something different. You need to take on a different approach, a different mindset, or you might need to just completely let go of whatever thing this is and redirect your energy elsewhere, redirect your focus somewhere else, because clearly this thing isn't working. And if it's not working, and like if it hasn't been working, but if you have been approaching things differently, taking like different routes towards this thing, but it's still not working, it's possible that you might just need to do something completely different and let this thing go. It might not be something that you just need to be doing right now. Maybe you need to focus on something else. For others of you, it might just be the fact that you just haven't been taking a different approach. You've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, repeating the same old patterns, expecting something different to happen, and it just hasn't. So with that being said, you might need to increase your level of self-awareness. Maybe do some meditation, maybe do some journaling and ask yourself some really important questions. And just dig deep into yourself and ask, like, have I been repeating the same patterns? What patterns may I have been repeating without noticing? What can I do differently? That sort of thing. So that's kind of like what it seems like for you, Cancer. And with this Three of Cups reversed and the Nine of Pentacles reversed, this might be related to friendships or to social groups or to social networking, to social media. Again, it might just be like your heart, your heart might not be in the right place when it comes to social media. So it's kind of asking you, for example, if you're trying to get famous from social media, for example, if you're trying to be like an Instagram model, or if you're trying to be a social media influencer, what is the intention behind that? Are you doing it because you want to make money, because you want fame, because you want recognition, because you want to be admired by thousands of people? Where is your intention behind all of this? And is that something that you wish to uphold, if that kind of makes sense? Are you being genuine in your intentions is basically the question that I'm asking you. That's kind of what it seems like. What are your genuine intentions? What are your true intentions? What do you want to gain out of this? And if it's because of superficial materialistic things, it seems as though the universe is kind of gonna give you a reality check and be like, no, if you want those things, if you're only doing it because of this, then it's possible that, sure, you might end up with those things, but you may not be entirely satisfied. You might not be entirely fulfilled. There's just some sort of reality check that you might have in terms of like, if you're trying to get big on social media, you might be hit with that reality of, you know, just what that might end up being like for you if you were to follow that route with that intention. So again, it's a sense of just like being mindful. And you might even be met with continuous obstacles if you were to go into that industry or to any sort of industry with the intention of only making money, of only being famous, of only having a sense of recognition or being admired by thousands of people. Like, you might end up meeting a lot of roadblocks because your heart isn't in the right place. So Sign of Swords reversed, again, this is a time for you to be honest with yourself. And it's a time to release anything or to completely let go of something that just isn't serving you, that doesn't promote a sense of integrity or dignity, I guess you could say. So yeah, this was a lot, Cancer. I hope that kind of makes sense. I hope that you were able to get something out of this. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And yeah, I hope that helps. I hope it resonates. Bye.